processes that support change. And I think in any situation, whether it's whether we're dealing with an addiction or whether we're dealing with pornography or whatever, no matter what the situation is that we're wanting away from, change is what we're going after, right? I think that in my own life, there's things that I'm always coming up against that I want to try to get rid of, or sometimes there's things we want to try to bring into our lives. Sometimes it's a combination of the two. Sometimes we want to get rid of some junk and try to bring in some stuff that's going to help us, So these 9 processes right here, and they're sort of in order. There's some of them, after 4 on down to 9. Those are all kind of interchangeable as far as value, but the first 3 in order are the most important and in that order. And we're just going to run through them real quick, and then we're going to get into the lesson. But number 1 on the list is consciousness raising. So obviously at some point we realize that one of 2 things. We're either here because we're wanting to help others, maybe we have family members or something that we're here, standing in for, or maybe we have an issue that we're wanting to work on. It's consciousness raising, because the first thing that any substance that we bring into our lives, now this is where the spiritual side of this comes in, because even the world out here, I actually adopted this from a secular program. Somebody that's not teaching this with God. They're actually using these same processes, but it's all medically, it's based on medical principles. And it's awesome because they go in and they teach this thing about consciousness and about how alcohol and about how drugs and different things, as soon as they come in and we become addicted to it, the first thing that it does is it sears the conscience. It gets rid of the part in there that tells you that it's killing you. From the outside we look and we watch and we see people struggle with things, and it's like, oh man, wish I could help this guy. I can't believe, how's he doing this to himself, But then when we get on the inside of it, and I've been there, guys. I've carried every addiction there is out there. Every one. You can't. Save none. Save none. I've been there. And from the inside, it's really hard to see that, because that's the first thing that it does, is it wants to protect itself, because it's not only some chemical that's coming into you. It's not just some alcohol that you're addicted to. There's spirits that follow this stuff. There's a spiritual backing for this. And these spirits know what to do to keep themselves there. They know how to inhabit your body. They know how to be there and not get kicked out as soon as you recognize them, right? So if you recognize in your own home, say you come home one day and you open the door and you're making a sandwich, and you look over in the corner and there's a squatter in your house. Just chilling in the corner over there. You already made him a sandwich. He's sitting over there eating it, And it's like, what's this in my house? What's going on here? Immediately, you might have a heart like mine. You might have a heart where you're like, oh man, I gotta try to figure out what to do for this guy. If it was in my own house, I'm probably gonna freak out first. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna get this guy out of my house and then figure out what his problem is. You know what I mean? So here's the thing is, we can't, because of what it does to our conscience, we can't just jump right in sometimes and say, okay, problem found, problem resolved. It's not that easy. So the first and foremost thing, that's why even on the 12-step program, it says that we have to realize we have a problem, right?
Yeah.
Same principle. It's a matter of raising your consciousness about what this stuff can do, and mostly just finding out. It's like this. It's like, do I want to keep doing this, or do I not? And if you do, I'm not going to hate you either way. It doesn't matter to me. We have everything in this room, and every week we have everything from people that have been, clean for a few years, down to people that, shot up right before they walked in. Literally, we have that. And it doesn't bother me one bit. I'm not here to try to separate out and weed out and try to pull people and separate them into groups. What I'm here to do is say, all right, check it out, everybody. Right over there is a goal. This is a plan that God has for you. You notice how I'm pointing up, because it's above the problem. Because there's a problem in front of every one of us. I don't think there's anybody in this room that doesn't have a problem. There's some kind of an issue going to come at you, because it's life. It might be Obama. It might be the next president. Who knows? There's an issue. There's always something. But just above that problem, if you kind of hold your hand like this and block the problem and look up, you're going to find the source. In the Old Testament they said we look to the hills for our help. It's because the hills were elevated. They were above the problem. So consciousness, and we're just going to read through these because consciousness was the only one that I really wanted to touch on tonight. You guys can take these home and look at them. Social liberation. I know that myself, throughout my history, within my first couple of years of my meth addiction, social liberation wasn't a problem because I was like, I wanted to hang out with everybody because I was the king of the world. I was on the top of my game. I could talk faster. I could think faster. I thought I looked better. You know, everything. You know, it even makes, you know, even when you get involved with meth, it even makes people's eyes a little bit sharper and crisper, and people are like, man, what's up with that guy? He's got something going on, you know? Really, he's just high on dope, you know? So, social liberation. Coming free from this gives you back some of those social things that you lose as you get deeper and deeper and deeper into the addiction, you know? You want to go out, you want to go kick it with somebody, you want to go do something that's self-improvement, but you know, I'm already 3 or 4 beers into this 12-pack, and I'm kind of committed to that, so you're not socially liberated. You can't because you got this, you know. So it allows you to go and do things and get things where you can learn, you know, that there's nice green trees outside, and there's something to enjoy. You know, there's something out there to enjoy. So social liberation, emotional release. We always bottle things up. As we, you know, inside of addictions, we always bottle, we always hold everything in. I mean, we'll pin it up all the way through the day until it's time to punch out, and then, you know, haul up to the liquor store and down a bottle real quick, or run home and do a shot, and then we can get our emotional release, you know, because we go, like that, right? But see, what happens is we really don't release any of those emotions. We just hide them for a minute, and then we add this big, bulky, gorilla-shaped problem to it that follows you along, and eventually when that problem does surface again, all of a sudden it's got all this other junk with it, and it can become violent, it can become suicidal, it can become all these things that are destructive not only to yourself but to others. So self-reevaluation, that's where you just, I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. You look at yourself again. It's like, go back to the mirror and be like, okay, wait a minute, is that me? I'm not sure who that is. You know, it's just self-reevaluation, it's checking yourself out. Yeah. Not necessarily physically in a mirror, but taking a look at yourself. Commitment, you know, making a commitment, saying, okay, well, you know, I'm going to commit, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this today. That's what I'm going to do. You know, or countering, that's changing direction. So if I'm cruising this way, and over here's lots more problems, I'm going to counter, I'm going to flip around, I'm going to go back this way. Countering is just changing direction. Same as repentance. You know, when we look in the Bible about repentance, and we look up the root meaning of that word, repentance means to change direction. You know, it means to find remorse in what you're doing, realize there's a problem, realize there's an issue, just change direction. Environmental control is like, where's the problem? You know, are you, when you get off work, are you cruising by your brother's house, or you know it's going to have a joint lit up and ready when you get there? You know, it's environmental control. It's about going somewhere where you know, I mean, this environment, I think you're pretty safe in. You know, if it's something where you literally can't say no, and I mean, you've literally got to start controlling where you go. You know, you got to take it that seriously. You know, because it is a serious thing, especially if we have families involved, we have children, and we have, you know, different things that are suffering other than just ourselves, other than our own pains. You know, then we have rewards, self-explanatory, and helping relationships. At 9, I like that one being on the bottom because that's where you get to this point where, you know, I've been clean for a couple of years, three years or so, and now I'm standing up here and I'm telling you, you know, where I came from, what I've done, how broken I was, and how I found liberation from all that. So that's your 9 processes that support change. We don't hardly ever go through it the way we just did, but we have a lot of new people in here tonight, so I wanted to go through that list. And then as you hear me speak on different things, you're going to hear me refer to different ones of these. So